Okay, at number 8, we have Go Go Power Rangers and Tommy and Kimberly. Colorful teenagers in spandex fight monsters that look like guys in rubber suits. Does it sound dumb? Yes. Has it been around for 20 years? Yes. Is it from developed from another series that's even been around longer? Yes. Is it great? Hell yeah. Seriously, Power Rangers is probably iconic to this point. You would be hard pressed to find anyone who doesn't at least know something about the series. Pretty much superheroes again. And now let's focus on our ship here. Kimberly was the pink Power Ranger, going to high school like everybody else, and then Tommy shows up, the new student. A bit mysterious, but nice, and like most of her and her friends did some sort of martial arts. There's an instant attraction, and she invites him casually over to meet her later, maybe hang out. Hmm? Romance in the air? Yes, even as a kid, I could understand that there was something going on there. And Tommy says agrees. And as he goes to go meet her after school, the evil witch Repulsa, Rita Repulsa, shows up and casts her spell on him, turning him into evil. And the sixth Power Ranger, the Green Ranger. And next follows up the arc where they had to fight the Green Ranger, eventually discovering that Tommy is the Ranger, which makes it more difficult for Kimberly as he pushes her away. Eventually, they break the mind control, and Tommy and Kimberly start dating. And it's kind of a bit of a staple in the series. It's not something they focus on. Obviously, the monsters, the fights, the robots, that's the focus of the series, but we got little tidbits about them being more than just friends, which was nice. And then stuff happened. Kimberly left the show to go to some sort of peace conference, and she never came back. Well, there was the movie, but I'm not sure if that's canon. Anyway, she goes away. She moves away. But apparently there's still an item. And then a few seasons later, he gets a letter. A Dear John letter. Look, I know that sort of stuff happens in real life. That occasionally people try a long distance relationship and it doesn't work out. Sometimes they get dumped in a letter. I get that happens. But it's not very interesting TV watching. Also, it doesn't give us much closure or about the relationship. That's why it's on my list here. That's what nailed it in for me. There wasn't any real closure, and it kind of felt weird that the relationship was ending. And then he gets into a new relationship with a new Pink Ranger, and that just kind of felt a little odd to me. It's like they didn't really need to, it didn't happen organically. It just seemed like they were trying to develop this character more so. It just, yeah. I really liked Power Rangers, and it just, like, suddenly this relationship broke up, and nothing. It's just like, mm. Okay, for number 7, we're going into melancholy territory, as in Melancholy of Haruki Suzumiya. Okay, let's get the couple in question here is the titular character Haruki Suzumiya and the narrator, oddly enough, Kion. Let's get a little background in the series in case you haven't seen the anime, read the book, or seen the movie. Kion is snarky. Snarky as hell. He's the straight man of the series. Long since given up any dreams about seeing espers, aliens, or time travelers. And as he enters school, he thinks back on that, only to be confronted with Haruki, who's still looking for aliens, espers, and anything else that's weird. She's kind of batty, but he intrigues her, and she definitely intrigues him. Soon he's pulled into making a club, mostly because of her. He gives her an idea and she drags him into it. And he soon finds out their other club members are aliens, espers, and time travelers. Though he questions why they don't just reveal themselves to Haruhi, he soon realizes why. She's God. Maybe. They never actually clarify that. The thing is, Haruhi has some sort of reality bending powers. All three groups agree on that. They don't exactly know why or how or exactly what she is, or even agree among themselves. But they all agree that if she finds out that these things are real, that they are real, things are going to be nuts. And probably not a good thing. So they task Keone as somebody she has chosen. Keep her calm. Because when she gets angry, these things happen. Monsters show up and attack the city and another dimension. It's a whole different thing. That's not the point. The point of this is Haruhi and Keone. The first novel, Haruhi's gotten tired of life. She can't find what she's looking for. She doesn't see what's going on in her own life. She's tired of it. And then one day, the world gets kind of rewritten. Keone wakes up to find that she and him are the only ones in their school. There's some sort of force field leaving them there, and they can't figure out a way out. The others manage to send Keone a message that Haruhi is tired of the world. She's rewriting the entire world, and out of all the people in the world, she's only bringing him along for the ride. Soon they won't be alone. When the world gets rewritten, other people are going to show up. But everything he's known is going to go away. He asks, how can he stop this? What has caused it? And the only clue they give him is Snow White, and a hint from the future about Sleeping Beauty. As those monsters show up and start wrecking the place, Haruhi gets excited. This is what she's always been looking for, the supernatural, the strange. But Keone tells her, no, this is not what he wants. He actually wants to go back. He wants to see everyone again like they were. But she can't understand it. What's so amazing about the other world? And Keone finally gets it. He pulls her in as the monsters barreling down around them and kisses her right on the lips. It's actually kind of romantic and kind of spectacular way to get your first kiss out of the way. They kiss, and the next thing he does, he wakes up in bed. Was it all a dream? Well, no. Well, right before the kiss, he admits that he liked her with a ponytail. He's kind of got a ponytail fetish. But when he goes back to school, he finds her with her hair done up in a ponytail, hinting that, despite the lack of evidence, it happened. She thinks it just was a weird dream and doesn't want to talk about it. But Keone sees something there. And that's the end of the first novel. And I think it was supposed to end there, hinting that Keone would tell her about the world she doesn't know about, her friends and everything. But then we get a novel series, and they butt heads against each other, one time in very dramatic fashion. But it's always hinted at that they actually do like each other. He likes him because he keeps her grounded, and he kind of likes their zaniness. As wild and crazy as she is, he kind of likes it, though he will not even admit it in his own narration. Now, here's why I say this ship is dead. The ship is dead in the water. It's 2017 when I'm filming this, and the last book came out in 2011. There hasn't really been an update. There was a short story about them, the whole club going on a trip to the shrine on New Year's, but it was short, nothing substantial. And that's the last update I've heard. So it's not that the ship gets sunk, it's just that everybody working on the ship decided to leave and just leave it there with the passengers still on board. That's why I say this ship is gone, because they never officially got together. Keone just snarks. Haruhi drags him to things he says he doesn't want to do, but he probably actually enjoys. They've had some issues. There are been some rivals for somebody's affection, but yeah, nothing's come from it. The series ended, and there hasn't been any new books. The series just sort of ended. The last book had elements from everything, yeah, but it wasn't said it was an ending. They didn't make any more. I haven't heard anything from the author saying he passed away or he just got tired of writing. There hasn't been an update in years, and I have to say the series is probably gone and dead now. So I'm not getting closure. That's it. Ultimate snark and possibly a god, and we don't see if they actually get together or anything. Honestly, you should have gotten together earlier. Their friends have been pointing out, you like that girl, go ask her out. But nope, he's too being stubborn about it. And that's the end. That's it. We don't get any closure. So, To close out this part, I'm gonna do what Keon does. And that's what I think of that ship. And not getting conclusion. Come along and we'll go to distant lands of heartbreak and despair. At number 6, it's Finn and Princess Bubblegum. Now, about that whole despair thing, I wish I was even kidding about it. The last few seasons have gotten kind of dark and sad. Not in a bad way, there are some rather good storytelling, but still kind of gloomy. Okay, let's start. Finn, purportedly the last human boy, and a magical talking dog, which is his brother because he was adopted by dogs. They are warriors. They are heroes who fight the monsters and save the Candy Kingdom, whose ruler is Princess Bubblegum. The relationship here is pretty easy to see. Hero and princess story. Finn protects the kingdom, and there's some hints that they like each other. She's a bit older, she's 18, he's like 12 or 11 at the start of the series. Actually, he seems to age in real time, so that's a bonus for the series. I always like that. Essentially, that's what the story starts off as. Things go on, things carry on. As Finn grows older, he starts to develop a strong crush on Bubblegum. And then a new monster shows itself, the Lich. Doom this world and everyone in it. But Princess Bubblegum has a weapon and she gives it to Finn. And a sweater. A sweater of liking someone a lot. It's a pink frilly sweater that Finn actually wears because it comes from his crush. And things go on from there. The fight continues and the Lich is defeated. But Bubblegums is hurt in the process. And then we find out something. Through modern candy medicine, she kind of reverted to a 13-year-old. She's 13, Finn is 13. And it looks like they can finally be together, and that's great. The Candy Kingdom's citizens are happy. It's always been a little will they or won't they with them, but now they're the same age, and it looks like smooth sailing. We have an episode with Finn and Bubblegum, both 13. They're just playing around, having a good time. It looks like, that's great. But then comes Lemon Grab, one of the most annoying characters in any series. I'm not being biased, he is really annoying. So he comes to claim the Candy Kingdom. Because Princess Bubblegum is 13 now, she can't rule the kingdom. And he's come to claim it. In the end, she must revert herself back to run her kingdom. Getting pieces volunteered from her candy citizens, she says she needs a hero hug. The hero Finn and the Princess Bubblegum embrace. Which I'm pretty sure was actually a kiss, because then, anyway, big flashlight, she goes back to 18, and he's still hugging her. He says, okay, you can let me go. And that's where the relationship kind of got weird for me. And says, hey, you know, that hug was nice, you want to try it again? And it says, Finn, that was years ago. She literally outgrew him in a matter of minutes. Finn hints at trying to get a relationship with her again, but she shoots him down, and I'm a little upset about that. If she's older, and if she's not interested, I understand. There's a lot of things that could go wrong here, a lot of things that could stop them from having a meaningful relationship. I wish she was a little nicer to a little kid, you know. And that's where the despair kicks in. Finn is like crushed by his crush, and he's like very upset for several episodes. Until he kind of meets a new girl, and boom, he's like rebounds, bounce off. Finn still carries a bit of a torch. Pun not intended, because I haven't explained Flame Princess, which I'm doing now. Bubblegum figures that Finn and Flame Princess are dating. She realizes something terrible, that if they kiss, her core is going to go up, which is not an innuendo. She will literally get so hot she will burn through the planet and kill them all. She tries to talk to Finn about it, but Finn is like, no. You know, he kind of just breaks loose of all of his emotions he's been holding in. He tells her, I was in love with you and I'm trying to move on. But now it feels like you're dragging me back there and I just can't do that again. I'm paraphrasing, but that's basically it. Which I gotta applaud the show. They're actually handling a crush and moving on in a very mature way and very realistic to teens, which I kinda like. It's very good. In the end, Finn and Flame Princess do kiss, and she does start burning through the core of the planet. Thanks to Jay, that is settled, they escape, and Finn barely makes it alive. And Flame Princess and Finn are together and they're happy, and Bubblegum is watching, and Jake is like, oh, are you jealous, Princess? And the princess only says, shut up. And that's kind of it for it. Things happen. There's a few hints that Finn tries that relationship again, but ends it before anything major happens. It's not like the feeling goes away out right away, but yeah. It was a fun ship. It was the start of the series. It got you invested into it. You accepted it. You wanted it to happen. Been some really good fan art, including some from one of the storyboardists, Natasha Allegri. I actually have it on my wall. I'm gonna put it on here somewhere. Whatever. It's by my head. You can see it. It's nice. But the ship just kind of sunk. Princess Bubblegum liked Finn at first. Said, "I like you. Here's this special sweater," and then went to a child and grew him out, and it kind of lacked a little emotion there. And then there was hints again, but yeah, it's gone now. It's kind of hinted at that Marceline and Princess Bubblegum are our thing. They've never stated it outright, but it's highly hinted. And Finn's moved on. He's dated a couple other people, and it's developed. And he's growing up a little bit. He's not always making the right choices in relationships. He's making mistakes, but he's growing up, and I appreciate that. The reason I picked this ship over Flame Princess or any other relationship Finn's been with is this growing up, this whole will they, won't they thing, and sometimes this happens, and a lot of the story for Adventure Time lately has been about Finn growing up. And I may have wanted them to get together, but they've at least developed why they haven't. A lot of the series deals with Bubblegum is a ruler of this kingdom, and then she needs to focus on that. And that's why she can't be in a serious relationship, which makes me a little worried for Marceline's sake. But yeah, they've developed it. They have a good story overall. I still feel a little rough about how it ended the relationship, romantic wise, anyway. But it's overall a good story, and as much as it hurts me to see Finn hurt, in recent episodes we've seen how much he's grown up, and I have to say that the whole heartbreak probably helped them do it too. And they haven't exactly forgotten it. They've put hints that somewhere deep in Finn there is that spark, that little spark for Princess Bubblegum, which I'm fine with. It's your first romance, your first crush. You kind of never really get over it. It was a sweet relationship with a sweet girl that kind of burned up